On today's show, we break down the coaching genius of the New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. On part 2 of a look under the hoodie, exploring 75 Bill Belichick quotes about the management mastery of the greatest coach of all time.
Stretch. You guys need to stretch. Maybe that's a problem. Too much gossiping and not enough stretching.
We had one fight like the second day, and then I made them run because they had so much energy to fight, and we haven't had any since then.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. Jason Beasley, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic on this post-Thanksgiving Saturday morning.
Hey, now, a lot of our listeners out there might be saying, what qualifies Jason Beasley to be on the show? Well, I'd like to say that you have managed a team of people. Your title was the super manager for a while there, which means that you started off in the call center and worked your way up to the role of a call center manager, and then an assistant manager in the store, and then a manager of the store, and then the super manager in charge of all 3 stores. And so you've personally managed a multi-million-dollar company with dozens of employees at the same time. And it turns out most entrepreneurs struggle with these following areas over and over and over. Most entrepreneurs struggle with, first, they just struggle with marketing and, getting in leads.
True.
But then step 2 is they really struggle with selling something. I mean, converting any lead into actual sale. And then third is once you sell something, you got to manage the people.
Yeah, that's a big part.
And I find that a lot of people struggle with management, but you have become a very effective manager. But again, we take care of the turnkey marketing and branding at Elephant in the Room. So we have leads coming in. We have about 100 new customers coming in every single week for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
The first offer that we make for them is a no-brainer. It's $1 for your first haircut, $1. So it's a great offer. But then step 2, we've got to convert them into actual members or paying clients.
Yeah.
So we have to do a great job. But then once we convert, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of members. And now that we've done that, now we've got to manage people.
Yeah.
And when you first started managing people, was it an easy thing? Was it a tough thing? Tell us about where you started when you first began managing people, if you can remember, without having flashbacks.
Well, I did a lot of my training, I guess, as an assistant at our South Tulsa store, but I didn't really start managing a full team by myself until I was moved to Broken Arrow. And I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be great, but I didn't realize the shift that happened from when you go to an assistant manager to a manager.
What kind of shift?
There's a weird love loss, I guess. There's a camaraderie when you're not wearing the captain's hat. They're like, yeah, this guy's on our side. We can confide in this guy. And then you become a manager, and it's almost like you're the enemy because you are the one now holding them accountable. You're the one that is stressing sales quotas and getting to work on time and all that. So trying to get over that hump was huge because I thought, geez, why do people hate me?
So you've learned how to become an effective manager, and we were talking about this off air, but I use Bill Belichick as an example, at least in probably every meeting.
Yeah.
And, you're not super interested in football. Frankly, neither am I. But why do I mention Bill Belichick all the time?
Because he is, without a doubt, one of the greatest human managers of that's ever existed.
Let's think about the parallels between professional football and running a small business. One, on a professional football team, you have 53 players.
Yep.
That's about like having a small business. You have a salary cap.
True.
You've got to stick within a certain budget as an NFL team and as a small business owner.
Yep.
3, you've got to make a profit. 4, the average player in the NFL, his career is only 3.5 years. Think about Elephant in the Room. How long does the average stylist stick around if they're very good? I mean, if they're very good.
Yeah, 3 years almost max.
Yeah. So there's so many parallels. So what we're going to do on today's show is I'm going to have you read the notable quotables as we go through part 2 of the Bill Belichick Notable Quotables series. You'll read the quote, and then I'll break it down. I'd like for you to explain the tough part about actually implementing what was being said here, okay?
Okay.
So here we go. Notable quotable number 11 from Coach Bill Belichick is what?
we are always trying to do a better job on that, and that's what we'll continue to do. So we're always trying to do a better job on that, and that's what we'll continue to do.
All right, so let's think about Elephant in the Room, the men's grooming lounge. We're recording this right now during the month of late November, almost December.
Oh, yeah.
And what are some of the new things, the new promotions that we're doing right now? What's maybe a new thing we're doing in the stores right now, a hot and fresh promotion we're doing right now?
So anytime a new member signs up, they get a chance to win a massive TV.
All right, so we got that going on.
True.
And we also are trying to improve every week.
Right.
So every week we're trying to make sure that if a guy books his hair an appointment at 11 o'clock, and another man books his appointment at 11:30, and another man books his appointment at 12, and another man books his appointment at 12:30, we want to make sure we are on time.
Yes.
For all 4 of those appointments in a row. What is the challenging part about that?
The challenging part is making sure that the stylists can perform all of their duties and all the extras that go into our experience within that given amount of time, but also the human error of if the person who booked that appointment at 11:30 actually shows up before or at 11:30 so we can get started.
So you're saying we have a challenge of the human component that if the customer shows up late or early, that's a problem.
Yep.
And if our stylists are running behind, that's a problem.
Yep.
And so we were talking on Friday about the 10-minute rule.
Oh, yeah.
Can you kind of explain what the 10-minute rule was all about? And this is a new update that we're doing at Elephant in the Room in our continual quest to be the best. What is the new 10-minute rule?
Well, it's just like, so we open at Saturday, so we open at 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yep.
If I book an appointment at 9 a.m. and you book an appointment at 9:30, if by 9:10 I am not there, but you are already there, they're going to go ahead and get you in because you were 30 minutes early to your appointment, you're waiting, you were punctual. Or if we have somebody who shows up and we're booked out, they wait about 10 minutes, and if I'm not there, we still have enough time to get their service in so they don't feel shortchanged or excluded.
So we're saying if somebody's running more than 10 minutes late and they're a customer,
Yep.
and they don't call and tell us,
and they haven't called,
then we're going to go ahead and take care of the person who's right in front of us, who maybe is a walk-in, somebody who just walked in without scheduling an appointment.
Joaquin.
Why is that a critical move?
It's critical because we turned down, what was it, 112 last week?
Yes.
And mainly because we stayed booked. However, we also asked the stylist, okay, if you have maximum, I believe if they book back-to-back 30-minute services, they can have like 16 a day. And all of them are saying, yeah, on a given day, we'll have 4 or 6 people not show up. Like, whoa, that's 2 solid hours or, 3 solid hours of appointments we could be getting in for people. So if you took that and you said, I'm trying to remember the statistic, but essentially we could still get in 4 or 5 additional people per day per person based off of the no-shows or the late people that we have.
So let's think about that. What can you improve in your small business? What could you improve? Well, let's talk about the branding, Jason, improving the branding. You've worked with a lot of great companies. We'll pick on one in particular who does a great job. Is Angel's Touch.
Oh, yeah.
Based out there in Massachusetts, actually.
Oh, yeah, born.
Talk to me about how well she's doing in terms of growth this year versus last year.
She's doing so awesome. So she is up 71% total. They had $1 million year. Last year, they closed it out at just over 860,000. Then this year, before December is even over, before November was over, they were already at 1.6 million.
So she is doing very, very well. This just in from our home office. She is doing well.
She's killing it.
Now, so again, I'd ask yourself, what can you improve in your small business today? Is it your branding? On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your branding on a scale of 1 to 10. Your marketing, your print pieces, your website, your logo, that kind of thing. And then marketing, how you generate leads. How effective is it on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest? How could you improve your marketing? How could you improve your sales scripting? How could you improve your pricing and your profit margins? How could you improve the human resources component of the business, the actual people that work with you? How could you improve the accounting in your business? But Jason, none of this is possible if we don't track. Now,
Right.
Bill Belichick watches game film maniacally. Bill Belichick does not delegate the watching of game film. Talk to me about how impossible it is to improve if you don't track.
Well, you never know where you are. So one of the things that I can speak so highly of Angel's Touch and how they went from 800,000 to 1.6 million was she started tracking, and she let me know she didn't want to. She hated numbers, but she had to become a numbers person. So every single week for about the first 20 minutes of our call, we go over her numbers. She markets aggressively on her ad roll and Facebook, and she tracks how that's doing. any other type of marketing, like the Google AdWords, where their leads are coming from, where they can optimize. But she knows down to the lead source all the way down to how much they're making. Like her revenue goals are on there, and because she can see it, she can push past it. Or if she's not getting there, she can identify what's stopping her from hitting her revenue goals.
We just helped multiple Thrivers this week save thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And is it okay? Do you give me approval? Are you okay if we help the listeners save thousands of dollars right now?
I'm more than okay with that.
Let's help the listeners save thousands of dollars right now. Okay. So step one, if you're out there and you have an office printer, let's say. We have an office printer. We have the big color one out here.
Oh, yeah, we do.
And a lot of business owners are spending a ton of money on printing. A ton.
Yeah.
On the ink, on the cartridges, on the so years ago, we measure what we are spending on our printing.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me, if we would switch to a different business, a different vendor, we could probably save hundreds of dollars a month and approximately $6,000 a year, dude. $6,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
By switching to a
adds
different printer provider. And so the printer provider that we used, and by the way, listeners, I don't make any commission for recommending this guy. We switched to Bud Taha. Bud, B-U-D, Taha, T-A-H-A. His phone number is 918-855-6111, 918-855-6111. And Jason, you just heard the call with one of our coaching clients. And is he not going to save some money by just switching to a different printer business? He's saving $6,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, it's impressive.
Jason, I mean, if you could make a $6,000 raise by just switching printing vendors, switching printer vendors, wouldn't that be a win for America?
Yes, it would, and I would do that in a heartbeat. I need to see where I'm printing right now.
Oh, man. Now, okay, let's talk about another company here. We got Tyler. Tyler is a credit card vendor, and this is a credit card vendor that has been able to save one of my clients over $1,000 a month. Jason, how familiar are you with how credit card processors work?
I know that in order to have a business, just based off of being an elephant, we have a credit card processor. So anytime that they offer the convenience for their systems to pull money off our customers' cards and put it into our accounts, they get a percentage of that just for being the software and the hardware provider.
True. Now let's talk about this for a second. When you have a website, when you take credit cards, you're going to be charged a fee. Many of you listening right now, you might get charged per transaction, per swipe. So let's say that I go into your store today and I buy a candy bar for $1. Many of you might pay 10 cents per swipe. Every time that someone swipes, you get charged 10 cents. Some of you might get charged a percentage, or some of you might get charged both. But I have found that if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, that's thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. Again, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. On average, our listeners who have compared rates saved $2,500 last year. $2,500. Now, how would you know if you're saving money? You got to track.
Yep.
Jason, let's talk about call recording for a second.
Ooh,
What happens if you're out there and you do not record your calls? What happens right now if we do not record our calls? By default, what happens?
By default, either calls are not made or calls are not made up to standard, which means we lose those leads.
An elephant in the room, how vital is call recording?
Extremely vital, because everything is a he said, she said scenario.
So what kind of things do we learn by recording the calls?
We learn, one, if our call scripting is effective in order to book people, get them the correct info, because that, in turn, it starts with the appointment. And if they don't like us there, then it's going to affect our conversion when we try to close them as a member. But if we're not recording it, weird things can be said, calls can be missed, calls can be ignored. If we have a vital customer service issue that doesn't get recorded, the person could say anything in order to get that person off the phone.
All right. So right now, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/clarity, thrivetimeshow.com/clarity, you can go up there and you can get a quote for call recording. And I'm going to tell you this. Clarity Voice saves almost every business owner I've ever worked with thousands upon thousands of dollars, because most small businesses don't have people that answer the phone.
Right.
And in the event that they do answer the phone, they don't follow the script by default. It is a powerful, game-changing money saver. And I could go on and on sharing with ways that you could save money. But the point of this first notable quotable is you've got to try to do a little bit better job every week. And you can't get better if you don't track. Kaizen, which means continual improvement. That is a Japanese term. Kaizen stands for continual improvement. Jason Beasley, notable quotable. Got a notable quotable. Number 12 coming in hot. What does it say, my friend?
It says, mental toughness is going out there and doing what's best for the team, even though everything isn't going exactly the way you want it to.
Okay, let's think about that as it relates to elephant in the room. What are times where you have to do what's right for the team, but it's not exactly what you want to do or what I want to do, but it's something we have to do?
Let's see. What's a really good example of that?
I think making shampoo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you've turned it into a learning center. You now listen to podcasts while you do it.
That's true.
But, I mean, making shampoo is probably not exciting.
It's not. The beard balm is the least exciting. It's also the most dangerous. It's just hot oil.
And making those awkward conversations happen where you have to sit down with two feuding stylists and talk to them.
Yeah, disciplinary conversation should have been the first thing.
Those are not fun.
No.
But we have to do it.
True.
But how many times do you see as a coach where you're working with a small business owner and before you've been able to help them, they simply avoid these conversations entirely? They say, I don't want to have the conversation, so they just don't. How common is that?
Very common. I have 2 clients this past year that they kept a toxic employee around, and all they had to do is have the awkward conversation, and they didn't, and so both of them got way out of pocket, and then they ended up having to fire them, which was good for their business, but they just let it go on, each one of them, for far too long.
That's so. If you're out there today, I'd ask you, what are the things that you need to do right now with your business that you don't want to do? Like, what is something that you need to do, but you don't want to do as it relates to your company? This is so important that everybody out there understands this idea, because if you do not do what you need to do, if you don't do the hard things, your life gets tougher. I'm just asking you, what are the areas in your business right now where you're saying, that's a tough one for me. I don't want to do that. Well, Bill Belichick, think about this. He's a nice guy. Jason, if you had 53 players, do you think it'd be difficult on a weekly basis to have to cut people?
Very difficult.
Why?
Because you don't want to be the bad guy, and I hear this a lot from clients as well, is that's somebody's livelihood I'm messing with. I don't want to make them unemployed because they might have a family.
So, I mean, it's a difficult thing, is it not? It's a difficult thing.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's a difficult thing, but it is something that has to be done. So I'm asking you right now, if you own a business, what is that thing that you've been putting off that you don't want to do, but you have to do? Now, Jason, notable quotable number 13 coming in hot from Bill Belichick is what?
My personal coaching philosophy, my mentality, has always been to make things as difficult as possible for players in practice. However bad we can make them, I make them.
Why does Bill Belichick have his team practice outside during the winter?
Because inevitably they're going to have to play outside in the winter.
But most coaches don't do that. Why?
It's true. Most coaches don't like to win the way Bill Belichick does.
Let me cue up this video here. You tell me, you narrate here what you see here going on here. This is, let me cue it up here. Okay, let's see here.
Boston was rocked with record snowfall and historic flooding after a massive storm took hold of the Northeast. But despite the frozen conditions, players gotta play.
Oh, man, so they are walking down the road. So this is the Patriots in nothing but their gear. So
the New England Patriots
pants, pads, helmets.
And Celtics' Jaylen Brown proved that the phrase "no days off" runs true.
Hold it! No days off!
So why is it a big thing, an important thing for these guys to practice outside right now in the snow? I mean, these are guys, NFL players, making millions of dollars a year. Why are they outside?
Well, in order to play and make millions of dollars a year, they have to be able to play when it's difficult, and they're going to succeed where other teams don't. Because, I mean, look at this guy. He's marching through the parking lot. It's windy. There's deep snow. It looks miserable, but they have to be out there.
What happens to the other teams, though, that have been practicing in a dome, climate-controlled environment when the snow hits during a real game? What happens to those guys?
They'll be distracted. They'll lock up. They won't know how to maneuver. Like, these guys practice on, running on snow or slippery surfaces, so they know exactly how to go in order to not impede their movement. But even then, it's like what was the play from the podcast we did last week where Bill turned over the ball because he wanted to kick with the wind instead of against it, and the other team didn't even think about that?
Yeah, Bill Belichick, and if you listen to some of our previous shows, we give a lot of examples. But Bill, during a critical game, elected to, he said, hey, I don't want the ball during overtime. They're like, you don't want the ball? You just won the coin toss. Why do you not want the ball? Well, he wanted to have the wind at his backs, at his back. And sure enough, when the game was on the line, the opposing team tried to kick a field goal into the wind, and they couldn't do it.
Right.
And so Bill's team was able to march the ball down the field and kick a field goal and win the game.
Yep.
This happens all the time. Now, notable quotable number 14. This just in from the Bill Belichick Notable Quotable Center is what?
When you get wet, it usually means something good.
What does that mean?
That is a great question. I have
What,
no
what does
idea.
that mean to you?
Well, the 12-year-old in me is just like, don't say it.
Okay, well, let me tell you what it means. He likes bad weather conditions. And why does he like bad weather conditions?
Because it's hard.
And the other team hasn't practiced in it.
Right.
I just want you to understand this. There are so many examples of former Patriots talking about this, but Bill Belichick will actually make the balls wet and scuff them up all the time during practice so that when you're in a game and the ball's wet, it's not new.
Yep.
But what happens if you're trying to catch a wet football for the first time in your life and you're doing it on national television? What happens?
It's like somebody just tossed a big old fish out of the river at you, just flopping around, and you have no idea how to grab it.
Okay. Let's move on to the next notable quotable. Notable quotable number 15 from Coach Bill Belichick.
Whatever success I've had, it is because I've tried to understand the situation of the player. I think the coach's duty is to avoid complicating matters.
Let's go back to notable quotable number 14 for a second. I'm asking you, what can you do to make your office environment tougher than it is on the playing field? So as an example, if you have a call center, why would you want to role play, Jason, the frequently asked questions or customer complaint situations with your call center team before they have a real complaint?
Because it gets them ready. Back when I was working at the Elephant Call Center or the rental car call center I was working at, I came into both of those not having prepared, and it wasn't until I started working for the Elephant Call Center that I would have weekly times with my manager and any other trainer where you guys would go over hard customer service issues, or you'd play a call back and say, okay, what did you do wrong here? And it would get me prepared. That way, the next time somebody calls in and they're screaming, are you kidding me? I don't lock up. I'm able to go in with nothing but candor, make them build that rapport, and then diffuse the situation. But if I weren't experienced with that, I wouldn't be able to, close that anytime.
Well, we have a notable quotable here from a little audio excerpt from James Harrison. Now James Harrison played played for Bill Belichick during his final season in the NFL. He will be a Hall of Fame NFL player. He was the strongest man in the NFL during his career. He spent the majority of his career on the Miami Dolphins. However, James Harrison has been on other teams throughout his career, and so he's played for a lot of different coaches, and that includes the Bengals. And he played for look how jacked he is. This is like, look at this guy. I mean,
Dear God.
He played for the Bengals. He played for the Steelers. He played for the Patriots. Look at those arms. What the crap? And so James Harrison is being asked about what it's like to play for Bill Belichick versus playing for other coaches. And this is what he has to say. I just want to make sure we're getting this.
What was the biggest difference from playing under a Tomlin versus a Belichick?
Like I said, it's discipline. Everybody think I'm talking about, the players are just running wild. They're doing whatever they want to do. It's discipline as far as an understanding of defenses, the execution of them, even with the players, understanding and it's being taught the same way by everybody else. I'm not saying that the team is going crazy. They're doing whatever they want to do. That's what I'm saying. That's the big difference that I felt when I went over to New England.
Well, the reason why it's such a relevant subject is because Terry Bradshaw, obviously working for Fox, doing a great job for them for years, 4-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he did an interview a couple of days ago, and he spoke out about Tomlin. And he said that he wasn't a fan, and that his coach's style, he's more interested in being with friends with the players than doing anything else. My attitude is simple. Tomlin is 116-60. As a head coach. He's been to 3 AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl title, 8 playoff appearances in his 11 years as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think there's much to complain about other than to say he's not Bill Belichick. But when you hear a Bradshaw saying what he said, what do you take from that?
Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You got to look at the type of coach that he played under versus versus what he's seeing now.
Right.
I would say that, Cowher was, another coach that was,
and he's explaining that Bill Belichick, the level of discipline he has on the team translates into success on the field.
Yep.
So let's break this down into small business language. Let's talk about checklists.
Mm-hmm.
Checklists.
Oh, gotta love a checklist.
Oh, employees do not like following checklists. Why do employees not like? I mean, when I think of checklists, this is what I think about. Oh yeah, love checklists because they make it work.
Right.
It's a sexy idea. But most people, when they think about checklists, they think about. Now, when I think of checklists, I think about, oh yeah, checklists, systems, success. But when most people think about checklists, they think about. This Thanksgiving, I made a checklist for all the food that I would bring, and I made a schedule of events.
That's right.
Therefore, I didn't forget anything. Most people for Thanksgiving didn't do that, and therefore they forgot something.
Yep.
So let's talk about this for a second. Why do employees hate checklists so much?
The main thing that I always hear when people get used to doing the checklist is, I don't like to be micromanaged. I don't like for you to tell me every 2 hours that I have to do the same thing. There's nothing new. We do the same thing over and over.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But they don't see the benefit of that. Like for you as a business owner, checklists are great because that means if that checklist is there and gets done every 2 hours, you don't have to be there doing it. And if you have a manager who can execute and follow up on it, everything gets done.
So let's talk about this. Notable quotable. Whatever success I've had is because I've tried to understand the situation of the player. I think the coach's duty is to avoid complicating matters. Jason, how could we make the elephant in the room men's grooming lounge more complicated? Because we've had people suggest things that would definitely make it more complicated. How could we make it more complicated?
Oh, we could take apart all of our tools every single day and do like a crazy maintenance sweep and cleaning, even though the sanitation process that we use is state board certified. We've had times where people are like, oh, we need to take every single thing apart, even though people don't know how to do it. Or whether it be like how we approach the checklist. Well, instead of doing it every hour, let's do it every 30 minutes, or every 2 hours, do it every 30 minutes.
I found too with we have guys that will come in who will want like the Oklahoma City Thunder logo in their hair.
Oh yeah.
And it's not the average person, but it is somebody. And so we'll have a newer grooming professional who says, we need to focus our training on how to do those kind of designs. And you've seen this, Jason.
I have.
And it's like, we need to retrain everybody.
Yep.
We need to start right now from the top to the bottom.
Yeah. We need to have a seasonal product every single month where we have to take all the stock that we have for our ongoing stuff and then convert it into something that nobody's going to buy.
What are other ways that we've had people suggest ways to make it more complicated? I have so many examples that relate to small business owners. I have had employees who said maybe we should have a new playlist every month.
Yep.
I've had that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people say, what if we introduce, like you said, a new product every month?
Yep.
Another one is, what if we have a new org chart so that way it doesn't get boring?
Yep.
Like we could rotate an assistant manager and manager every week and then rotate the lead stylist. And talk to me, Jason, about this, because I think a lot of business owners are out there listening to their staff.
Yeah.
And their staff is bored that they work at Dick's Sports.
Right.
And all Dick's Sports sells is sporting goods. And so they want to sell something else. There's employees out there that work at Victoria's Secret who are upset that all Victoria does is sell her secret products. And they want to talk to me about this. Because how did you handle this when you're a business owner? In this case, you were a manager of a lot of people, and they all suggested new ideas every day. How do you handle it?
Well, most people get bored, which is what is happening with employees suggesting things, is they don't want to do the same thing over and over because they feel like their job lacks quote unquote excitement. However, they don't realize that a job makes sense and you make money if the system actually is in place and is repeatable. And so most managers or small business owners will have that employee mindset, like they were an employee at some point, so they never really lost that. And then when it goes back to being likable, you want to make sure that you have the same mindset so people still like you, even though they don't respect you. So when a new idea comes up, they're going to say, hey, I think we should do kids cuts every other weekend in order to make it fair. And you're like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's do it. Well, then it's utter chaos. Or if they decide,
okay, you've had the kids cuts recommendation before.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
What kind of recommendation did you have for that?
I said, well, the system is set up to cater to men of a specific age.
Wait a second, you're saying we've had a member of the team at one point suggest what about kids cuts?
They wanted to do like every other weekend or like 2 weekends a month. We'd be able to let kids in no matter how young in order to cut their hair.
What are other examples of things that people have suggested that could make it complicated?
They wanted to do stylists like cut each other's hair every Sunday because they thought it would be fair to enjoy the services that they offer other
Or
people.
what about a membership for women? Have you heard that?
Yep, membership for women.
I've heard a lot of people say you should do elephant in the room for women. That'd be awesome.
I haven't heard of like senior memberships for seniors.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And what are other more ways we could complicate the elephant in the room? Because again, Bill Belichick is a master of coaching because he breaks down a complicated amount of film, a ton of data, and turns it into a game plan that people can actually understand.
Right.
What are other areas where members of the team, elephant in the room, have suggested things that would make it infinitely more complicated?
Changing out the complimentary beverages that we offer our clients, not them, but the clients, changing it out once a month so people don't get bored with, Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite.
You've had that suggestion?
Oh, yeah. And then at one point it got super heated, and so I just showed them the costing sheet. And I'm like, this is why we do what we do.
What about this? I've had this one suggested a lot. What if we had a seating chart, and then every month or every week we'll rotate what chair each stylist works? Does that feel like you get tipped more and the lighting's better in this chair? Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're endless. I've heard people suggest we need a new video game every month in the stores.
That one never changes. Every time something new comes out, hey, we need to get the new games. No, we keep Madden and 2K and Call of Duty because that's what homeboys will always default back to.
I've heard people say they want us to repaint everything all the time, new colors.
Yep.
And I think there's business owners out there, and you've worked with these business owners, Jason. Talk to me about these business owners that you've worked with that have been a slave to their employees and a slave to complication, and you've helped them change the conversation by understanding that you have to nail it to scale it because complexity fails and simplicity scales.
Yeah, well, oftentimes with those clients, they're entertaining all these extra ideas. And what happens with that is not only are they wasting the time that they need in order to manage those people and their business, they can't work on or in it if they're focusing on a crazy idea of the week, but it's one of the biggest things that I see stops people from tracking, because if you're adding a new idea every single week, there's no continuity there. You can't say, okay, well, this worked for this week but didn't work for this week because it was only 1 week of you actually acting on it or pondering on it, not even acting yet.
Let's talk about Bill Belichick, Coach Bill Belichick, quote number 16. What say you, Jason?
Every game is an important game for us. Doesn't matter what's the next week, who we play, whether it's a bye week, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Columbus Day, we don't care. We're just trying to go out there and win a game.
Repeat that again, please, because somebody needs to really just soak that in. Someone needs to listen to that, take notes on this, because this is powerful. Somebody out there, you need to get this. Break it down.
Every game is an important game for us. Doesn't matter what's the next week, who we play, whether it's a bye week, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Columbus Day. We don't care. We're just trying to go out there and win a game.
I see so many business owners who are held hostage by their team because this week is Thanksgiving, so I can't, hey, boss, I can't work this week because it's Thanksgiving. And then, by the way, boss, I can't work next week because I can't work the day after Thanksgiving, Jason, because that's the Friday after.
True.
And I can't work then because it's the day after Thanksgiving. And then the Wednesday before I can't either because I got to travel. And I can't work Christmas Eve, but I know we get Christmas Day off, but I can't work the day after Christmas Day. And I can't work on the eve of New Year's or the day after New Year's. And I can't work the day of St. Patty's Day, and I certainly can't work the morning after.
Whoa, no.
You see this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, how many holidays are there in a year?
Too many.
There's a lot. So what happens, Jason, if the listeners out there can't get their team to get it done 52 weeks a year? What happens?
Well, your ideal and likely buyers will quickly become somebody else's ideal and likely buyers.
How many holidays are there during the year, Jason, that have the ability to think just off the top of your head, what are some of the holidays that have the potential to absolutely destroy your business if you let everyone on your team have these times off?
Well, definitely Thanksgiving, because most people take a week off for that. Christmas, most people take a week off for that. New Year's Eve.
And I'm not going to argue with you, but let me just tee this up.
Yeah.
You tell me if you disagree here. Do you believe people should have the day off before New Year's Eve?
Before New Year's Eve?
Yeah,
No.
the day before New Year's Eve.
No. The eve of New Year's Eve. Get out of here.
But people ask for it. What about the day after New Year's Day? So it's the day after New Year's Eve. So do New Year's Day.
I believe New Year's Day you should be open.
Should you be off New Year's Eve?
No, actually.
So you think you should be off if you had to choose New Year's Day? Are you off, or New Year's Eve? Are you off?
Oh, like I have to pick one?
Yeah, you had to pick one.
Well, I would pick New Year's Day because I know my employees are going to show up in a very negative
Okay, so
state.
right now, we're saying most businesses that I've worked with over the years, they let their employees off the day before New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And they let them off New Year's Eve. Would you agree with this?
Yep.
And then they let people off the day before Martin Luther King Jr. because it's a bank holiday the next day. Have you seen this phenomenon?
I have.
Okay. What about the day before President's Day? Do you know people that have ever taken this day off?
I remember I used to get it off for school, and I had no idea what the holiday was.
What about Good Friday?
See, that's I'm stepping on toes there as far as religion goes, but personally, I don't think so.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know people that are asking off for Good Friday who are certainly not going to remember and commemorize the life and death of Jesus Christ. They're just wanting the day off.
True.
Now, the day after Easter, should you have that off?
No.
What do you think about here, the 4th of July or the day after the 4th of July? You want to do the day after 4th of July? Do you want people to work on that day?
I would say if I had to choose day after because that's another drinking holiday.
Okay, so the day after Independence Day, the day after the 4th of July, let's and then the day before the 4th of July, people ask for that off.
There's no point.
People ask off for Labor Day. I mean, we go on and on.
We labor on Labor Day.
There are so many. There's 104 days off.
Whoa.
In the year right now on my list here. And on page 21 of the Boom Book.
There's only 365 days a year.
There's 104 days
104.
off that people
What?
believe they should have off right now.
No.
Now, we also throw in birthdays. Do you see this crap where it's like, my child's having a birthday today. Can I get off? Have you seen that?
Ever since I was old enough to work, I have never not worked on my birthday.
But you've seen people ask for it.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have you seen people say, can I have today off? It's my birthday. Or it's my kid's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this?
I have seen that far too often.
Unbelievable. And it's hard to get anything done if you're off 104 days a year.
It's true.
Unbelievable. Again, Bill Belichick, he's the king of consistency. Now, Bill Belichick, quote number 17, Jason, what does that say, my friend?
It says, you can play hard, you can play aggressive, you can give 120%, but if one guy is out of position, then someone is running through the line of scrimmage, and he is going to gain a bunch of yards.
Read it again. Read it again, please.
You can play hard, you can play aggressive. You can give 120%, but if one guy is out of position, then someone is running through the line of scrimmage, and he is going to gain a bunch of yards.
To break down the football jargon for someone who doesn't know, what he's saying is if you can be really hardworking, run really fast, you go out there and give, quote-unquote, 120%. But if you run the wrong way, you're going to lose.
Yep.
And I think in business, we see a lot of business owners working hard.
Yeah.
But not tracking. Just today, Jason, you and I were listening to we were on the phone with a client, and I'm having him track how much profit he's making per week.
Yep.
Why?
Because you want him to know how much money he's actually bringing in.
But what happens if he works really hard but doesn't actually track? What happens?
Well, it's going to get to that point where every statement is I think or I feel. I think we had a busy week. I feel like we were super profitable. And then he's going to look at his actual account and go, oh, no.
But we have to track it.
Yeah.
You have to go the right way.
Yep.
Specific examples of things that we have to do. I'm going to give listeners some very specific things you can do right now that will dramatically increase the success of your business. I mean, dramatically improve the success of your business if you'll do these things. And there are 11 things on my list of things to do that will dramatically improve your business. Right now, these are 11 practical super moves that I give the listeners permission to use. They're going to work. But these are things you want to do this week, and I'll read them to you. 1, you have to have all your employees gather objective reviews from your real clients on Google and Facebook. Why, Jason?
Because it is going to help with your ranking. It's also going to help with your overall conversions because he who has the most and highest reviews gets selected by the clients by their ideal and likely buyers when they're searching on search engines.
Video reviews. You got to gather at least 2 video reviews per week and add them to your Google map. And then add those 2 video reviews, step 3, to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that so effective?
Well, it's effective because if you optimize them correctly and add them to YouTube, when people are searching for whatever keyword they're optimized for, not only does your business come up organically, but those videos come up. And why they are also super important is whether you watch them on YouTube or on, the Google platform, it's more proof. It's validation. It's helping you sell yourself on your ideal and likely buyers without you having to say anything. It's another customer that you've wowed.
So I'll give the listeners 2 examples. If you type in Clay Clark reviews, I'm sure you'll find someone that doesn't like me as well. But if you type in Clay Clark reviews, right now we have over 1,000 video reviews that have been recorded from real clients who've actually hired me to speak in the past. Let me cue this audio up from Paul Riddle. This is a speaking event I did in Florida years ago. Let's see what he has to say about my speaking event.
I'm Vice President of our company of operations of...
It's called the Success Group International. His group. They work with home builders.
I'm Vice President of our company of operations of Success Group International. I work with independent contractors. But the takeaways for me was really to look at leadership and to define it in an active mode. You know, leadership is something that's very, very active. It's something that you have to really think on, I think, on a regular basis. You've got to build that habit, but you have to involve others. And I think where Clay resounded with me very, very well was his 4 E's and also taking that vision and then making it...
That's referencing Jack Welch's 4 E's.
...purposeful each day. That's what builds success, really impactful. Clay's style was very engaging to our group. We have contractors in the service industry, especially in the mechanical trades and roofing, and he spoke at a very high energy level, which was very, very good. And number two...
But again, I'm not the one saying it at this point, right? I mean, it's somebody else saying. This is one of the heads of UPS, United Postal Service. This is in Canada.
My name is David Drucker. I'm the president for UPS Stores Canada, also a member of the AFA board in an honorary position. So kind of a
So you know he's a real person. He just said his first and last name.
crossover with both sides. I thought it was great. I thought Clay did a wonderful job. I think...
But again, we could sit there and play these all day, but the point is it's real people that are not on my payroll, Jason, who have something to lose by putting their reputation out there.
True.
So if you're listening now, step 1, get reviews on Google and Facebook. Step 2, get video reviews on your Google Map. Step 3, get video reviews on YouTube. Step 4, write 45 pages of content per month, 1,000 words per page. Even if you could just do 24 pages of content per month with 1,000 words of content per page. Why is that so important, Jason?
Well, because Google ranks the people who have the most relevant content based off of whatever particular keyword is searched. So if I had a mattress company in Tulsa and I wanted my customers to be able to find me on page 1, above the fold preferably, I would have to have enough content relating to that for Google to rank me as an authority.
There it is. Now, you want next item, you want to get at least 10 images per week added onto your website gallery. So let's give examples. If you're out there listening today and you type in PMHOKC reviews, PMHOKC reviews in Google, there you go. You see PMHOKC, one of our great clients with 143 reviews. You've got video reviews up there. You've got, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff to be found up there. There's a lot of great reviews. But Jason, what happens if you as a listener out there, you're not active about getting these reviews, not proactive about gathering them? Even if you're going 120%, what happens if you don't stay proactive about gathering these reviews?
Well, eventually, if you stop getting reviews, you're going to get outranked, because even if you have more than somebody else, if they consistently get 1 or 2 a week, Google likes that consistency. It makes them believe that they are like a more active business. But also, I mean, you just give your competitors a chance to just steamroll you, which again is going to bury you in the rankings. And so your customers are going to go based off of who they see first and who has the best and highest rating.
So you've got to stay proactive about it. Now, what if you do a Google search right now for Joplin Gyms, Joplin, Joplin Gyms, and that would be Kolaw Fitness. There they are. They have 3,602 reviews. They've got all those video reviews popping up in the Google search. If you're listening right now, look it up, Joplin Gyms, Joplin, Joplin Gyms. They're top in Google. And Jason, does that translate into growth?
Absolutely.
But what if you're going 120%? You're giving 120%. What if you're going fast, you're working hard, you're putting in the hours, but you're not doing the right things? What happens?
Well, you're not going to grow. You're gonna burn yourself out just doing something crazy. And it's true.
It's true. But that's what happens. Now, let's continue. We've got to gather. Again, step 1, get those Google reviews and Facebook reviews. Step 2, get those video reviews on the Google Map. Step 3, get the video reviews on YouTube. Step 4, write at least 24 pages of content per month. Do it. Step 5, add 10 images to your website gallery per month and name them properly. You can reach out to us, by the way, by going to, if you want to schedule a website assessment, just email us at info@thrivetimeshow.com, info@thrivetimeshow.com. We can help you. Then you want to add 10 images per week to your Google Map. Step 7, you want to get 1 Indeed review per week from your real employees. Step 8, gather 1 Glassdoor review per week from your employees. Jason, why do you got to stay intentional about getting those Glassdoor and Indeed reviews?
Well, if people are applying to work for you, it's just like if somebody's trying to buy, let's say I have my mattress company. We're going back to that. If I want people to work for me, but I also want people to buy from me, it's the same thing. I have to have reviews and testimonials for my customers to say, oh, he seems like a not shady guy. He doesn't have bed bugs. Let me go buy from him. But it's the same thing with employees. If somebody's getting on any of the online,
and they do,
what do you call it? It's like a resume centers. It's like, oh, I'm going to apply here. They will check your ranking and be like, oh, if you have 15 disgruntled employees who leave a 1 and talk about your shady practices and everything, you're going to be driving your workforce and your customers at that point away.
All right, so think about that for a second. Are you getting those Indeed reviews? Are you getting those Glassdoor reviews? Now, step 9, this might sound crazy, but for the average small business owner, if you put out 50 door hangers per day on the doors of your ideal and likely buyers, it works.
It does.
Why does it work?
Top of mind awareness. People come home and they're like, oh,
look at that.
These guys. And also, they're everywhere. So if everybody in this neighborhood who is obviously doing well and that I know has this, maybe I should get on this too.
And I think about the Hub Gym, one of our great clients. They put out door hangers on the homes in their community. They knock on the door. Hey, I'm with the Hub Gym, and I'd love to invite you out for 1 free month of workouts here at our facility. And that's all it is. And if the person's not there, they hang the door hanger on the doorknob. That's the deal. Now, step 10, these are action steps. Get a sign flipper. If you have a retail store where you got a lot of traffic going on, get a sign flipper right in front of that store, flipping that sign, gathering attention. Why is it so powerful to have a good sign flipper, Jason?
Well, it's great that you emphasized good sign flipper because we have some people here, not to say, but they do like taxes every January, February. They'll dress people up in crazy outfits, but the person's just like, come get your taxes done.
Oh, the person dressed up. It's like the sad Statue of Liberty.
Yes, the mopey Statue of Liberty. Whereas you have the sandwich guy across the street who's got his earbuds in, and he's basically surfing on that thing.
I'm going to cue up the audio. This is a local Channel 2. KJRH, Channel 2, the NBC affiliate, they actually did a story about a sign flipper in Tulsa because he's
New
so
on 2,
good.
taking pride in your work and being yourself. 2 pretty good mottos to live by. 2 News anchor Brianne Palmerini introduces us to a young man in South Tulsa taking those words to another level.
At a busy intersection in South Tulsa, you can hear the sounds of traffic, an occasional horn, most courtesy of this guy. It's all very different from what Chandler Barrett is hearing. Chandler has been out here on the corner of 101st and Memorial most weekends for the last couple of years, putting on a show for drivers and hopefully reeling in customers. He's a sign spinner and he takes this job very seriously.
I believe that you should put every ounce of energy you have into your job, whether that be flipping burgers or if you're a CEO or something. So I'm just going out there and I'm trying to do everything I can to do the job as best as I can.
The polite and reserved teen is not what you'd expect when you see his enthusiastic performance.
I didn't enjoy it the first couple weeks, and then I'm just like, well, I don't care. I'm going to try to make this fun for me, and I don't care what other people will think about me.
Chandler has been getting a lot of attention as more and more people recognize him. Some of it's not so good.
People who don't like what I'm doing, cuss me out to flip me the bird.
But for the most part, it's positive. People asking for autographs, even tipping him.
A group came in, and I was an item on their scavenger hunt. They had to have a video of them dancing with me.
A man working for an HR firm wants to use him as an example of work ethic for his company.
He approached me, said that he wanted to do include me in a part of his video for his employees.
Chandler's own boss says Chandler's work ethic is giving others a good impression of his business.
It's our smallest store in terms of visibility, the smallest sign in line. It's very easy to miss as you drive by, and yet it's the most known as a result of Chandler's displays.
It works, folks. And if you are not convinced, just check out the story. I put a link to it on the show notes. You can check it out there. The guy looks like he's playing the drums. He's going all in for hours at a time. Unbelievable. Now the final action item you can do every single week, these 11 moves that definitely work that you can use, is have an employee give you an employee testimonial of what it's like to work in your office every week. That is really, really powerful. Jason, why is it so important to have video testimonials of your employees explaining what it's like to work there?
Well, it's just good to have. It's just like it goes back to the video reviews. We can have as many Indeed or Glassdoor reviews as possible, but somebody along the lines can be like, I don't know if I believe that. Well, if you have a video, I mean, we have some on your YouTube channel that shows actual employees. They don't have a script. They just say, okay, this is why I like working here. Here's what's different about it. There's B-roll of the rest of the office, so you can see that they're not actors. They're real people.
If you type in Clay Clark employee reviews, you can see what I'm talking about. It's so important that you gather those reviews. Now, Bill Belichick, quote number 18. This right here is a powerful quote that somebody needs to write down. Jason, what say you?
The less versatile you are, the better you have to be at what you do.
All right, let's think about that for a second. In the context of football, throughout the years, Bill Belichick has switched people to a lot of different positions because of injury. And, Jason, if you're a coach, what sort of control do you have over who gets injured or not?
Well, I mean, I guess there's like a slight bit of control, just making sure that everybody's conditioned and trained well. But you never know if somebody's going to take a hit wrong or if the team's just going to come at you, or the opposing team's going to come at you even harder. So the most control you have is being able to fill that spot when somebody does get hurt.
So let me cue up some examples here for you, okay? The Patriots this year started the season with a guy at the fullback position by the name of James Devlin. Now, James Devlin did not play fullback in college. Fullback is where you basically run with the ball occasionally, but more often than not, you block for a guy running the ball. You make sure you're clearing a path.
Yeah.
So he's very, very good, and he got hurt. So they thought, let's bring in the backup. So they bring in a backup, and they bring in Jacob Johnson. Now they bring in Jacob Johnson, and he gets hurt. So now they got their linebacker, Landon Roberts, playing fullback.
Yep.
They're on their third string. Julian Edelman, who's a receiver on the Patriots, he was a quarterback in college, and occasionally during their offense, the Patriots have him throw the ball, but he's actually used as a wide receiver. Why is that helpful, Jason, for the Patriots knowing that their receiver could also play quarterback if need be?
Well, if Tom ends up, breaking a finger or something happens, God forbid, they need somebody who can still play that position.
There it is. So again, in your office, how do you make this actionable? Jason, how many people in our office know how to do search engine optimization and sales calls and know how to coach people?
A great deal of the team is cross-trained.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Just because, let's say I get hit by a bus, or I decide, you know what, Clay, I'm taking off the entire month of December.
Sure.
I'm just, Christmas is the 25th.
Why did you have to start off in the call center and then move up to managing people before you could become a coach or a consultant?
Well, there were plenty of times where we would have people just not show up or show up late. And if I'm around the corner, you or John or Daisy call up and say, hey, you know how to do this job. Can you cover until the next person gets here? Absolutely. Then that way your bases are covered. I'm getting paid. That's great.
But if you do not have a versatile team, and you're a small business owner, and there's only one guy in your company that knows how to do Photoshop, what happens when you lose somebody?
Well, not only are you SOL if they get sick or they quit, but
stands for soul brother.
You're also you're going to give them the ability to hold you hostage. It's like when people hire the website guy who wants to do PHP. It's like, oh, I'm a PHP wizard,
baby.
And then he ghosts you or has been lying to you the whole time, and you have no idea, but that's because you've relinquished that power by not having somebody else ready or not having a source of wisdom that could, verify.
Now, Bill Belichick, quote number 19, he says, what, Jason?
I think a good quarterback or a good linebacker, a good safety, even though you have a lot of bodies moving out there, it slows down for them and they can really see it. Then there are other guys that it's a lot of guys moving and they don't see anything. It's like being at a busy intersection, just cars going everywhere. The guys that can really sort it out, they see the game at a slower pace and can really sort out and decipher all the movement, which is hard. But experience certainly helps that, yes.
That's powerful right there. Guys who can think well are the kind of people that he wants on his team. Now, as a business coach or a consultant, before anybody can become a client, they have to schedule a 13-point assessment with me. And Jason, why do I do all the 13-point assessments myself?
You are a very good judge of character, but also you ask important questions and you see things differently. You look at it from the scope of somebody who has built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, and so you have a better understanding of who's going to be a good fit.
Yep, and I can see patterns. I'm like, oh, this person would be perfect, or here's the obvious chink in their armor. Here are the 5 to 10 things that are limiting their growth. I can see that easily because I have been in the forest, out of the forest, in the forest, out of the forest. through the forest, up to the top of the mountain, back down the mountain, up to the top of the mountain, back down to the mountain, over and over top to the top of the mountain, to the bottom of the mountain, through the forest. And so now there's been some brush that's kind of grown up. There's been some lack of landscaping going on. And now the path has been kind of covered.
Yeah.
It's been there's weeds growing up everywhere in that forest. And the path has been obscured with snow and other obstructions leading up to the top of the mountain. And because I have been to the mountaintop, I know which way to go, even though, some might not see the path anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe some have never known the path at all. And it's amazing to me how easy business can be if you have a good coach or an expert leading the way.
Yeah.
And so, Jason, I thought we would do kind of a fun thing here. We were just released a Thanksgiving show, obviously during Thanksgiving, and I thought the show went really well. But I thought for a second you could share with the listeners about the growth percentages, of these clients that are having growth this year. So if you could just read the name of the company and their growth percentage, that would be a beautiful thing. Let's read through all 24 on this, or all 23 on this list.
Yeah. So Scott's Construction, they are a builder. They had 54% growth 2018 to 2019. Metal Roof Contractors, they are, of course, a roofer. They had 87% growth.
Come on now.
Year over year. Let's see. Jean Breeze, she is a speaker. She had 52% growth.
Come on now.
Brian T. Armstrong, he's a builder. He had 48% growth.
Wow.
Accolade Exteriors, they do windows and siding, 86% growth.
We're reading off the names so you guys can look these people up and verify them. Keep going.
Yeah. Quality Surfaces, they do countertops. They had 76% growth.
Come on now.
Gables Excavating, self-explanatory, had 61% growth.
Yep.
Back to Basics Builders had a growth of 27%.
Come on.
Kelly Construction Group had a 21% growth.
Yep.
Bogard and Sons Construction, they had 33% growth.
That's huge growth there. 33% growth. Continue.
Yeah, it's a third. Restoration Health Chiropractors had 115% growth. Come on. Best Buy Window Treatment, they had a 75% growth.
Yep.
Cheney Construction had a 14% growth.
Yep.
Custom Automation Technologies, a 16%.
There we go.
CT Tech had a 56% growth.
There we go.
Lake Martin Mini Mall, shout-outs to Mr. Jason in Alabama, had a 13% growth.
And he's not even into December yet.
Right.
As of the time of this recording, it's not even December.
Yeah.
So you understand, he's going to end up with like a 20% growth. When we knock out the month of December, that's a record sales month for most companies. Continue.
HealthWorks Chiropractic, Dr. J had a 20% growth margin.
All of these clients, these numbers are documented, and we have not even finished the last month of the year, and December is the biggest month for almost every business. Continue.
Da Vinci MSP, they had a 1,097% growth.
Wow.
Inspired Spaces, they had a 40% growth.
Yep.
Laundry Barn had a 100% growth.
Yep.
And then our team Angels Touch in Bourne, Massachusetts had a 71% growth.
Full Package Media with a 15% growth. Hood CPAs almost doubled the size of their company this year. Shaw Homes has grown from $37 million to $80 million. I mean, we're talking about massive growth. It's because these things work. And my job as a business owner is to just kind of slow it down and to look at your business from a meta level and to see problems that are harder to see if you don't see things from a meta level. Jason, if you're so busy in the day-to-day reacting, why is it hard to see the obvious flaws that somebody else could see when they're not in the forest? Why is it hard to see the forest when you're in the middle of it?
Well, because you're too close to everything. You're super surrounded by it, so you can only see what's right in front of you. Meanwhile, in the foreground and background, there's all sorts of stuff that needs your attention.
I also find that the emotional fog of the situation, it's like you're in that fog, and if you were 500 yards away and you could see how close to the edge of the forest you are, you wouldn't be discouraged.
No, not at all.
But when you've been going around in a circle for 10 years or 5 years or whatever, and you can't see how close you are to the edge, it becomes very, very discouraging. Now, our final notable quotable I want to hammer home today on today's show is Bill Belichick quote number 21, which he's famous for saying, and I think it's easy to just look at it and kind of glance over it and not realize how profound it is and really what it means. But let's go ahead and read our final Bill Belichick quote of today's show.
The final quote, number 20, is, "Do your job."
I think a lot of people struggle to do their job for the following reasons. One, I want to do my job, but I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, when I'm sick, what do?
You pop some Dayquil and you still beat everybody here.
Okay. I want to do my job, but I have 102 vacation times and, with 102 holidays available, I mean, it's really hard to get any momentum going.
Yeah.
If every week you're taking off a day.
Yep.
Isn't it?
It's extremely hard.
And I want to do my job, but my kids are in school, and who's going to take them there? And I want to do my job, but I had someone write something bad about me on Glassdoor or social media. Now I'm upset all day. And I want to do my job, but I am competing in a triathlon right now. And I want to do my job, but with the wedding coming up, you know how it is. And I want to do my job, but with the divorce, just happening. I want to do my job, but my dad is sick, When my dad got Lou Gehrig's disease, it wasn't positive, but I didn't stop working.
Right.
Why?
Because you had a job to do. You needed to do your job.
But I think a lot of people do their job except for when bad things happen.
Yep.
Which turns out bad things happen every week.
That's true.
How often do bad things happen in our businesses, Jason? I mean, is it every Monday?
It's every single Monday.
And what kind of bad things happen on a weekly basis where you're going, whoa?
It's from not taking proper stock of inventory, so then running out and having to scramble, over order, and then spend extra hours making stuff. Disciplinary issues with gossiping and drama.
These are all things that happen on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And if I said, I'll do my job except for when these things are happening, we would never get anything done.
No, you certainly wouldn't work on Mondays.
You certainly wouldn't work, and that is so true. So if you're out there today and you're struggling to get that traction, just take a good hard look at your schedule and your life and ask yourself, are you doing your job every day, or are you just doing your job when things are going well? And with that, we'll wrap up part 2 of the Bill Belichick Quotes series. Now, we have 75 notable quotables that we're working our way through, my friend. And we are on that was number 20.
That was number 20.
So part 3 will be coming up here soon. I could not be more excited. Jason, are you prepared to end the show with a boom?
I am so prepared.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away, I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July, and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave, a knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, force the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day,
Somebody say,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you burn, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you burn, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
Increase what you've earned.
Yes.
In due time, you got money to
With this biblical miracle,
yeah.
I look to shout down the doubters. Kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers. Empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it, sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Merton.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.